Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, Fragrance Fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. I'm just going to keep on giving you guys these budget-friendly fragrances. Use that $40-ish and $100 range. Most of these are a lot less than that. Good number of these you find at your local rack stores. The one I'm talking about today is a 1986 release. It's a woody amber, and you see it at the rack stores every now and then. And I'm talking about the House of Calvin Klein. This is the original Obsession. Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with this, but I'm going to go over some of the presentation anyhow. Very light lid, kind of thick plastic, but very light and cheap. Atomizer isn't too bad. Squirts out a fair amount of juice, but some of the droplets are a little bit heavy, but it's not too bad of an atomizer. It does the job pretty decent. So I'm going to go over some of the notes with you guys, because there's a million notes listed in this thing, as with a lot of these old school fragrances, and try to do my best to give you an overall broad view of what this fragrance is like if you have not smelled it already, which I'm sure most of you have. In the top, you get an okay dose of some of the citrus, but mainly you're going to get that powder from the lavender and a bit of that spice from the cinnamon. In the mid, you're going to get, it's going to start to get overtaken a little bit by some of that pine and the nutmeg and some of the sage in there, but really that pine is kind of dominant in the heart of this. In the base is the sandalwood and the musk. It's a clean musk, it's a clean sandalwood, and there's quite a hefty dose of florals in this. Overall, this is quite a complex fragrance for being what it is. For as cheap of a fragrance as it is, it's actually pretty well done. Now, a lot of you are going to immediately associate this with like an old woman smell or an old man smell or your dad or grandpa or something like that. I'm guilty of that. I associated this with my grandfather. It's like what he wore. He reached for it all the time. I just thought it was an old man smell. And now that I guess like I'm an old man or something like that, I ended up acquiring one of these, and I'm guilty of actually enjoying this thing. It's actually growing on me quite heavily because I can appreciate it. Now I'm stepping back and looking at it from a enthusiast point of view and trying to pick out what the good or the bad in this thing is. I'm not finding a whole lot of bad, to be honest with you. It is a bit dated. It is a bit classy and stuff like that. It's not good for the high heat. This is a cool weather type of fragrance, but it works in the daytime, in the nighttime. It's pretty versatile, actually. It's just not good for the high heat. In the office, you'll do okay. Even if people don't like it, they've probably smelled it enough times that they're just used to it, but don't really go over 2 sprays because this thing is loud. You'll get every bit of 8 hours with this thing, no problem. It's going to project an arm's length for quite some time, and it's just going to keep on pumping off of you. Definitely mature fragrance. People under 25, more than likely, 98% of the time, are not going to enjoy this. Really, under 35, probably, about 90% of people aren't going to enjoy this. But I'm guilty of this thing starting to grow on me. Overall rating, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Reason being, because it's actually not that bad a quality. The quality is actually there. There's a lot of complexity going on in this fragrance. The scent profile, maybe slightly above average. The performance, well above average for your normal $20 fragrance. That's why I can comfortably go up as high as a 6 out of 10, because I have learned how to appreciate this fragrance. It smells a bit more expensive than what it is for like the 20-something dollars that you can pick it up for if you find it at the rack store. Maybe 29 bucks or something like that, but really, that's not bad for what you're getting here if you're not afraid of mature fragrances. This is not a blind buy fragrance if you never smelled this thing. It's just not. Unless you want to roll the dice and try something challenging, go ahead and get it. I've been wearing this thing lately because I'm like becoming an old man, I guess. I don't know, but that's just my honest opinion on Obsession and how it started to grow on me. I can appreciate it. Coming from an enthusiast point of view, stepping out of that like childhood thing, like, oh, it just smells like my grandpa or whatever. No, I'm stepping back and actually trying to pick out the good and the bad in this thing and figuring it out. And I've grown to actually enjoy the way that this powdery, woody, ambery kind of a fragrance smells like and what it smells like on me. So that's my final thoughts on Obsession from Calvin Klein. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.